Today I'm going to show you how to start your collage. The first thing that you need to do is create a new Photoshop file with the following settings. You're going to name it your name, collage. Your width should be 10 inches, your height should be 10 inches, and your resolution should be 300. We want to do a print file. You might have to redo these settings if you did what I just did and chose print after. Once your settings look like mine, you're going to hit create. We're going to add a new layer. And now we are ready to open up our first image. So we're going to go to File, Open, and your images should be in your digital media folder under your Photoshop folder. You're going to find an image to work with first. The theme of my collage is kind of Disney princesses and their different places that they live in the movies that they're in. So I'm going to choose an image. I'll probably choose Aladdin's palace first. When you open your first image, you're going to double check that the image is not blurry. If it is blurry, you're going to have to choose a different image. We're going to be using the magnetic selection tool to select the image without the background. So to select your subject without the background. When you get to the end of your selection, a circle will appear by the selection tool arrow. This indicates that you can join the selection from the beginning to the end of the selection. This will appear with a blinking line, which will make sense in a second once I show you what I mean. So you guys are going to select your whole entire figure. So I'm going to start here and make my way across the whole thing. Alright, once I get to the end of my selection, it will have the dot ready showing me, see how it appeared like that it is ready to be connected together. So I'm going to go ahead and click that because I know that I've selected the entire image that I want to select. And then those dashed selection blinking lines will appear. On your instructions, it says to go to the feathering section to see if you want to feather your object. If yes, follow the instructions on feathering before you move this image to your other file. Before I even do that, I noticed that on my image, I have some of the background in, so there are kind of negative spaces in my image that I might want to pull out. To do that, I'm going to stay on my selection tool, and I'm actually going to hit the Option key, and it will pull up a negative thing. That means that I can go in and negatively take out parts of my image. So I'm holding down my Option key, and then I can let go of my Option key once I begin to draw out these negative shapes. And I'm holding down my Option key again to draw out these negative shapes. This will make this blend more with the background of what my actual collage is going to be. So let me double check, and it looks like I missed one tiny little spot right here. Perfect. Now I'm to the part where I can decide if I want to go to the feathering section. So the feathering effect enhances your collage images. So it softens the edges of the pictures to help them blend together cohesively. So prior to moving your image to the main file, to use the feathering effect, you will change the feather effect on the tool options at the top of the screen. You'll begin at 2 and keep increasing until you have the desired effect. So this will just blur the edges of your image and provide some transparency to this image. So what I can do is hit feather feather option is up here. I'm going to start with 2, hit enter, then scroll on back up. It's after the feathering section, number 6 says to go to the main menu and click Edit Cut, or you can use your Move tool to click and drag that to the main work screen. So I think I'm going to use the click and drag option. You can also go to Edit Cut as well. So I click and drag my image, my cut image, to my main collage. I could also hit cut and paste it on here as well. I like clicking and dragging it because it still keeps that image intact over here and selected. So if I don't like the feathering effect, I can always go back and change it. And I actually think that I want to feather mine a little bit more even. So I'm going to go back to my magnetic selection tool and maybe use 5 pixels. And go back to my Move tool and move that to my main collage board. That's looking a little bit better. So now I am ready to, I already placed my cut image onto my main collage layer. Now I'm going to resize this image because it's a little bit small for me. So I'm going to use my Move tool and I'm going to hit Command T and hold down my Shift, or hold down my Option key to drag it out. Holding down my Option key allows it to not get all wonky and stretched out. If you hold down your Shift key, it stretches it out, which might be fun to play around with, but that's not what I want for this project. So I'm gonna scale it up to where I want it to be, and I can always go back and fix this later. In fact, I think I probably will because I'm gonna be putting multiple buildings on mine. So your goal for the end of class is to have 2 images placed onto your screen. If you get done placing one, you will begin to place another. So you'll go back to File, Open, and find your second image that you want to place. Now, this image looks a little bit blurry, so I might even want to go back and find a new image for this. But now you guys can get started on placing your different collage items onto your final collage paper. If it's not perfect when you put it on here, that's okay because you can always go back in and move them around. However, you do want to get as close to your subject on this part as you can when you are using your magnetic selection tool because there you won't be able to fix it later.